Hello everyone, this is Caroline and I am going to show you my sketchbook number 4. I've been drawing for a few months now. I'm an adult learner. Inside here is the progress I've made since my last sketchbook tour, and I think there is definitely an improvement from what I started with to what I get now. Let's have a look. This I drew from a reference, and I've written the name here, Marpa's Villa on DeviantArt. Drew something similar to this, so I tried copying it. I really like the look of pen and ink with just coloured highlights, and so I tried that. I really like this drawing, but I'm struggling with side-on faces. It's something that I'm really having trouble getting to grip with. I don't know why. I follow the rules, and they don't look like they should. So this I just drew from my mind, gave a little try at drawing somebody in Victorian or Edwardian dress and parasols and things, and here's a gentleman. And then I studied the different types of hats from the time. You've got the Regent, the John Bull and the Paris Beau. Quite like his cape. And I got into faces. I love drawing faces. They are so much fun. But already I know that my style has changed so much since I drew these faces. So let's have a look and see if you can see the progress in this book of where I end up or where I am at the moment. Who knows what the progress is going to be like by the time the next sketchbook is over. So this one is quite dark and almost reminds me of something like a seedy cafe with cigarette smoke everywhere because of the dark browns and yellows. A bit muddy really, but I quite enjoyed trying to figure out the shadings on the dimples in the hat. And then this, I put together the hats I'd looked at, a lady in Victorian or Edwardian dress, and some flowers I learned to draw while watching a Shader Campbell video. So then I tried drawing some cute faces. Very difficult. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I always draw the same face syndrome. Now, I can't catch same face syndrome. I must be immune because every time I draw a face, it's completely different. So I really tried hard to get these faces to look similar. I think they're okay, but still there isn't any, because I was following such a tight formula, there's still too many discrepancies for my liking. Now Mermay was coming up, so I decided let's try drawing a mermaid, see how I get on. I love the hair on this one, but this one's a bit suspect, isn't she? Then I did some eye practice. I enjoy drawing eyes, but I don't enjoy drawing them like this separately. I like to put them in the context of a face, but you don't get the concentrated practice then. It's just whoosh all over the place. This much time on eyes, this on nose, this on mouth, and I don't think your brain focuses. So this, I think, did me the world of good. Then I did more of this pencil work with just a coloured highlight, which I really like. Now this is a combination of aqua markers from Pro Marker and some watercolour paint. The outside is in aqua marker because it was an afterthought, and all the rest is in paint. Then I used a black uni pin to fill in all the gaps around here to bring this out. And the one thing with the aqua markers is you get all this splodging. It's very difficult not to, but it guarantees it doesn't come through the other side of the page, because I don't like having to leave every other page blank because the markers have come through. So here we got just some flowers. I did this to relax because when I've done an intense lot of art, my brain just needs to switch off and enjoy doing doodly type things. So I doodled and then got back to doing another face. This one is watercolour again with the aqua markers around the edges. I prefer this one and I love the way this apple blossom type flower has come out. I tried drawing some feet. My son decided to buy me a book for my birthday, all on drawing hands and feet, and so I tried drawing some. I got there in the end, but these took such a lot of rubbing out, but I'm really pleased with the look on this foot. I drew this, but what I found is that all the pencil was coming off onto this page, so I stuck a piece of tracing paper over the top. And there's a face, and I can see that already my style is starting to change a little on that one. If I had my time again, I'd have given her a much more flowing bow. And then I started to draw with more references to try and get hair right. Some of these hairs are wonderful. Like this is Briley's drawing journal, who, what, where, .ru. And this was drawing diary blog. And this was Ava drawing. So these are ones that I use. There's another one here, drawing Alina blog. So I used their drawings as references. Theirs are much better than mine, but I did enjoy doing that. I drew more hair. This is lovely. I really enjoy this. And I finally got a little bit of a hang of doing braids. Some bunny rabbits. I don't know why. I just decided I wanted to draw rabbits. And then I drew 4 more rabbits. And another granddaddy looking rabbit. And this one I think looks far too much like a cat. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong there. I think I needed to have brought the face down lower. But it's cute. I like the hat. More faces. And I particularly liked the blending I got here. I'm not quite sure how I managed to get it so good because it is something that I'm learning more about, but for an early attempt I'm very pleased with this. And this was on the 27th of March 2020. Now I did use my Pro markers here and they came through the other side of the page, so I decided to use the marks that came through and draw a different face. And that way then I could go over the top with coloured pencils, but still a lot of the under shading was already there from the previous picture. So a few blotches and things, but that's not a problem. And then I saw Genevieve Gorclay's work. She does some fabulous things like this. So I decided, let's see if I can invent my own characters. And I gave them a go. I think she's much better at it than I am. My son gave me a coloured pencil and it's got lots of different colours all in the same lead. It was called a Fuasa pencil and written on it was my heart is full of joy. So I did some scribbly, scrawly things and doodles to see what it worked like. Then I thought, let's see if I can put this into one picture and make it interesting. Again, I put some tracing paper up because otherwise the carbon tends to go onto the other sheet. And I came up with Flame Boy. His superpower, he can make his hair stand up higher than anyone else in the world, even in a shower. It was just a bit of fun really to see how the pencil worked. Well, I'm quite pleased with him for just a bit of fun. We're up now to the 30th of March and I drew these people here and this lady I coloured in black and thought I'll write noir by the side because noir is the French for black and it made it feel much more cosmopolitan. Some faces here looking up. I ended up getting real rubber lips type people, but after a million rubbings out they weren't too bad. And then I just drew some backgrounds, just playing about with my coloured pencils on a doodly day. And then some faces. This one I think looks like one of those Buddha heads. It's not supposed to, but it does. More faces. I really was trying to crack faces at this time. I think I've got there now that I'm not the perfect face drawer, but I've got the basic idea of where bits go to make them look not too bad. As long as they're not side on, I'm still struggling with side on. And then I thought I'd draw some dragons. I love doing the shading with pencils. I tend to put a very heavy covering of coloured pencils on the page because I like the sheen and also it just makes it more vibrant. I always thought you couldn't get vibrant colours from a colour pencil, but as you can see here, I think he's quite vibrant. So here we have some more dragons, and I did this dragon who was this girl's pet. And they're out in the evening by a castle. Not quite sure why, but I like the whimsy and fairy taleness of it all. Isn't he looking cute? Little tickle under the chin. Another attempt at a side on, and this was with no reference, so I was really pleased. Eventually, I can't remember, I think it was about 30 minutes to get this nose and these lips right, but I got there. And then, this was inspired by Willowing. I love seeing her art and seeing the way she does things like writing on the picture too. So I did this in watercolour, and I wasn't sure what colour to do her hair because of the yellows and the blues. So I decided to check with my art consultant, who's my son. I said, what colour can I do the hair? He said, oh, I think pink. So I did this. I think it works well. You can see here, still struggling with side on, but I wanted to try the colours in the hair, really. That was what this was all about. I don't know if you can see the colours in the hair on this camera. And I've got a fairy. Again, coloured pencils. Took me forever to draw, but I like the way the ball tends to glow. Another dragon with a 99 ice cream cone horn on the top. Here we have another one that was inspired by Willowim. I glued on some tissue paper here, so there's a bit of texture. Let's see if you can see the texture. There. And I had a Lindt chocolate bunny for Easter with an egg, and so I took some of the foil off the egg and glued this on as her dress. And here's another face. You can see I'm really getting into faces now and thoroughly enjoying them. This is a doodle I always used to draw, this type of thing, to relax after I had been doing some intense work, and it just rested my mind. I cut out a few bits and pieces, stuck them in and doodled around, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I have been. I'm really getting into my go-to for relaxing, funnily enough, is a face. It's amazing to see how you change so much. I've only been drawing for less than a year, and already I keep seeing these major shifts in what I like to do. More faces. Now this one I just blobbed lots of colour on, and then I did some painting on the face. And I got this page, pressed it down, and I ended up with this splurge all over it. And it splurged these colours. Unfortunately, it muddied them a bit. But that way then, I got 2 watercolour bases for faces for the price of 1. I did a few problems here, mistakes, so I don't know if you can see. I used a Posca marker to colour them in and then tried painting over the top. It didn't work. Another face, a little bit less intense than this one. And a cat. For no reason other than I wanted to draw a flying cat. And without a reference, I drew these rabbits, and then I got a reference, and my rabbits became more cuddly. Let's move this down a bit. And cuter. Or is it more cute? And then I coloured them in with my pencils. The only problem with pencils, unless you take your time, you get lots of pencil marks. But just for a little bit of doodle and fun, I don't mind. It's a sketchbook, and so I'm not too precious. And then I drew this bear, who again is pencil. I took a little longer, so you can see there are far less pencil marks here. I think these wings really would have been spectacular if they'd been bigger. If ever I do that again, I'll do huge wings. Incidentally, this is my pencil sharpener. Isn't that very grown up? My son gave that to me when I first started doing art, and I love sharpening pencils with this. Look at that. I'm going to put my hand over here because this is a secret project. Here's some doodling I did with the killer rabbit and the very scared carrot. So I don't want you to see the next few pages, so I'm going to skip through those. I'll keep my hand there and show you here. I've just got a few faces that I was practicing on, mainly for shading and shadowing. I tried this so to see if I could get a 3D stacked effect. Some distance and perspective by going darker. Just a little bit of fiddling around. Ooh, and then I drew her. Doesn't she look spectacular with that black hair? I am tempted to go back and put some sparkly things in. I've got some glitter pens, so I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't want to do it and then regret it, because she's quite dramatic, just turning over the page. Look at that face. More rabbits. I drew this character. This was the 27th of April. She's in her garden. She's grown some flowers. Her greenhouse is here. I like this because it's really one of the first drawings I've ever done with a whole scenery behind it. Little topiary tree. Very nice. And then I drew this lady who is very glamorous. I would say she's in Paris and she's off for a stroll in the park before she goes along to a very posh restaurant to have her lunch. Hand practice. Oops, that one's upside down. So I was just trying to draw as many things as I could to try to get it more natural when I'm drawing hands. I think I've got a long way to go, but maybe you need to draw 1,000 hands before you're comfortable with it, but I'm getting there. One day I'll just draw a hand first time and it'll look like a hand. And here we have more hands. Just some faces out of my head. I was just doodling and a hand. I like the fingers on that one, not too bad. And then more doodling again. I use tracing paper between because you can see on there just how much of this carbon would be over there by now. And then Mermay started. And I was really excited to get into Mermay. I did this one on the 1st of May, which was the first one. I can't remember now what the prompts were. And this one on the 2nd of May was Warrior. So I drew her with her very large shell as a shield. That's the word. This one was on the 3rd of May. The prompt for this was sunset. So I drew her on the sunset and she was blowing a tune into the wind. And of course, the 4th of May, may the 4th be with you. So I drew a Yoda type. Strange mermaid. On the 5th, prompt was royalty. Now, I didn't want to just draw a mermaid dressed as a queen. I tend to always like to draw something a little bit off beam. So I drew the royalty of Neptune, who'd caught her and put her in a jar because he felt he had the power to imprison this poor little mermaid who, as you can see by her face, is not even vaguely impressed. Then some more little sketches ready for my next mermaid, which was Tsunami. I'd got myself completely jumbled up here because I think my dates are slightly out of order, but this says the 5th of May and her tail came over her like a wave. I like that. And this one was Tranquility. And the one thing I wanted to do with this, which I managed to do, is like people when they're doing yoga, they sit with their legs all crossed and tied up like a pretzel. So she did this with her tail. And then I drew an elephant, because who doesn't love elephants? Here are some more sketches for Mermay. And then the prompt was superhero. So I tried to bring her tail up and she had red fins which were coming across her like a superhero cape. I think it's a nice concept. This is very large. And then best buddies. Now I've seen many pictures of mermaids cuddling their teddy, but I'd never seen one cuddling a mer teddy. So I decided, right, this teddy is going to have a mermaid's tail. This was on the 9th. I'd skipped a few days because I didn't like the prompts, and then on the 12th it was Fury. And I drew a few little sketches here, and if we jump forward, this is what I drew. She looks pretty furious to me. But in between drawing these and that, I actually did myself another face. Love drawing these faces. And then the next prompt was angry or something not very happy. And I drew this from Raphael R 2D Lover. And then when I tried drawing it myself, she didn't look quite so fierce. Oh, I suppose I better cover her booby bits. And then the prompt was alien. So I tried a few different bits and pieces. I wasn't happy with any of those. So I did this. And what I've done to make this feel more alien-like is I've done it all in green because little green men, and I've turned her tail the wrong way round so her head is on the other end of her tail. She doesn't have arms, she has tentacles. It seemed like a good idea at the time. But then I just got fed up because I wasn't happy with the prompts. I wanted positive mermaids and all the prompts seemed to be a little on the negative side. So I decided I'm not going to do any more mermaid. I'm going to do what I love to do, which is faces. So I did. I'm always trying the shading with my pencils, so I decided to go for it. Let's try it just in something monochrome other than a bit of red. You've got to put a pop of red in whatever you do monochrome. You just can't beat a bit of red. And I just did her with my Pro markers, and I really like the way the nose has come out. One thing when you do it like this, there's nowhere to hide. You can't cover things up. You can't change the colours a little bit. When you've committed yourself, really, you've committed yourself. So I just went in very lightly and slowly increased the shading until I thought I was doing okay. And then because I use Pro markers, it all came through. You can see here little grotty bits. So I stuck a piece of paper in and I put the back of an elephant, as you do, holding a flag saying the end. And this was the 17th of May 2020. So this sketchbook actually took me from the 11th of March to the 17th of May. So it was about 7 weeks, something like that. If anybody's interested, the book I'm using is a Winsor & Newton heavyweight wire sketchbook, and it's 170 grams per square metre, 50 sheets in it. And I like these. I can see the advantage of having one you open up and you can work on the fold and put a double spread. But for me at the moment, I like having the spiral. So I'm working on the spirals for my main sketchbooks. I do have one that folds with the seam up the middle. I'm using that for my draw person every day. For general sketching, this is my favourite. So that was it. Thank you for watching my sketchbook tour. I hope you enjoyed it. There should be another sketchbook coming along in, I'd say 6 weeks, something like that. I'm already working on my next one. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, don't forget, have fun. Bye.